Today we'll see if our Denver Broncos can make it 2 in a row. The reigning Super Bowl champions are set for another playoff run. We're going to be the number 1 seed, and today we will go through our divisional round matchup. With a record of 13-4, the AFC playoffs will run through Denver. We had 3 home playoff games last year as the number 2 seed, and hopefully we can get a couple more this year. Should be a fun one as our Broncos look to be the first back-to-back champions since, well, I guess the Cowboys, who won the 2 seasons prior. We're coming into the playoffs with the number 3 scoring offense and the number 3 scoring defense. As for the rest of the AFC, the Ravens are the number 2 seed. The Browns, the shocker of the NFL, from the number 1 pick to the playoffs. And then the Bengals, who had won 8 games in a row, lost their last one and are out. The Steelers won 4 in a row. They made a push as well. The AFC, as you can tell, is loaded. Maybe not the South, with the Jags losing 6 in a row to finish the year. They had that great win against us and then completely fell apart. The Dolphins win the AFC East. The Jets barely missed out. And, of course, we had a hand in eliminating Buffalo, the team that's been so close to multiple Super Bowls throughout this series. And then in the West, probably the best division in the NFL. Broncos number 1 seed. Chiefs make the playoffs. Raiders get in the playoffs after starting 2-4. And the Chargers lose 5 in a row to miss out. The NFC North had 3 playoff teams as well. If this happened in real life and the Lions were the team to miss, that would be one hell of a crash out. Panthers go 12-5, winning the South. They won 6 in a row, while the Saints lost 6 in a row to end the year. The Eagles are the number 1 seed, while Dallas, who's been the team to beat in the NFC, lost 4 in a row to miss the playoffs. And then the Cardinals win the NFC West, while the Rams get the number 1 pick. What does that say about Dak Prescott, that he's been so dominant with the Cowboys in recent years, signs with the Browns, the worst team in the NFL, and he leads them to the playoffs while the Cowboys miss out? That's pretty telling. So those are our first round matchups. We've got a number of teams who we could possibly get a rematch with. I'm certainly eyeing the Chiefs or the Raiders. If the Raiders win, it will definitively be them since they are the number 7 seed. Could also be Kansas City as well. 2 teams who we obviously played twice this year, but also beat in the playoffs a year ago. As for our team stats, it was the best regular season for Bo Nix in his 5-year career. A big reason why we gave him the $300+ million extension. Ashton Jeanty was healthy for the most part. He didn't play in our last game against the Chargers, but he still ran for over 1,000 yards. Trey Henderson, very good as well. And then Marvin Mims. We finally had him on the field all year, and he delivered. Nearly 1,000 snaps, 96 catches. That finishes top 10. Over 1,400 yards. That finishes 4th in the NFL. I always knew when healthy, he would be a great player, and he finally stayed healthy, making the Pro Bowl for the first time since his rookie year when he made it in as a specialist. After him, we're certainly hoping the rest of our skill guys can stay healthy. Olave missed 5 games. Williams missed 4. Brazel missed 4. The offensive line was a little up and down. Tree Babalade struggled at times in his first year as a starter, and Andrew Thomas couldn't consistently stay on the field. And then defensively, obviously led by this guy, Jeffrey Bossa, who I was pushing to win Defensive Player of the Year at the end. We'll see in a couple moments if he won it. Drew Sanders and Marvin Grant also with over 100 tackles. Michael Williams with a very quiet 23 TFLs. That's impressive for a guy who lacked consistency throughout the year. And then Pat Surtain with 6 picks. Joe Burrow wins the MVP. Bo Nix is on the list at number 10. As for our other finalists, nobody in the Offensive Player of the Year race, while Bossa finished in 2nd. Alex Highsmith jumped us at the end. I think it should have been Bossa. I think his season as an off-ball linebacker is as impactful at that position as it gets. Now, Highsmith will probably lose the overall award to Aiden Hutchinson, but still, I really felt like this was a Luke Kuechly, Ray Lewis type of year from Bossa. Bo Nix 5th for best quarterback. Jeanty 3rd for best running back, with Trey Henderson also on the list. Mims in 7th for best receiver. That feels kind of low. DJ Glaze and Savion Byrd make the best offensive line list, even though they were both backups. Okay. Michael Williams 5th for best defensive lineman. Jeffrey Bossa finished in 2nd behind Highsmith again for best linebacker. Nick Bonito comes in 8th. And then in the best defensive back race, we had Patrick Surtain finishing in 3rd, only behind Greg Newsome and Derek Stingley. Will Lutz also coming in third. So we didn't have any winners, but we had a lot of guys high in the top 3, in the top 5. We did have a number of Pro Bowlers. Bo Nix does not make it. He's never made it in his career. I was hoping they would give him a spot. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen. But we do get Ashton Jeanty, his second. Marvin Mims, I mentioned him earlier. He's in for a second time in his career. Man, it was key having both of those guys healthy and on the field. Nick Bonito makes it for a third time, despite really not having his best year. 3 for Jeffrey Bossa in his rookie contract. That's very impressive, while Pat Surtain is up to 5. No Michael Williams. I thought his numbers maybe were good enough, but unfortunately they don't quite make the cut. At the beginning of the year, we promised 4,000 passing yards, and that we did. Bo Nix, I think, finished 4th in the NFL with over 4,500. It seems like Ryan Clark is talking about us a lot, but he gave us props for passing our 10-11 win goal, as we obviously ended up winning 13 games, our most in the series thus far. And then we have one more storyline with our offensive coordinator wanting to talk about the bye week, which is a huge advantage for us. I think having a late bye week in the regular season helped. We won 4 games in a row after the bye week. Which offensive skill position guy could be our secret weapon? I think of this group, I think a healthy Chris Brazzell would be a big deal. We kind of know what to expect with Travion Henderson. He obviously has a set role. But we haven't really seen our receiving core much with all 4 of these guys healthy in the same room since we traded for Chris Olave. Well, everybody's healthy. Obviously, we know Mims is going to play a big role. Olave is going to play a big role. But what about Brazzell and Ryan Williams? Brazzell was great in the playoffs last year. He had over 100 yards in our Super Bowl win. I'm curious to see what he ends up doing for us this go-around. Let's find out who we're going to play against in the divisional round. It's a team we are quite familiar with. A wise man once said, if you go for the king, you best not miss. Well, we didn't miss last year, and we're not looking to miss again. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs are returning to Denver for a rematch of last year's AFC title game, a game that we ended up winning 44-41 in an instant classic with a game-winning field goal by Big Nuts Lutz. The Chiefs are out for revenge after losing to us in the AFC title game last year and after getting swept by us in the regular season. They beat the Dolphins in a high-scoring first-round matchup 38-31. The Ravens will play the Colts in the other AFC game, the Battle of Baltimore. And then in the NFC, we've got the Eagles and the Bears, and then the Panthers will play against the Cardinals. So mostly chalk across the wild card round. Mahomes had 5 incompletions and 5 touchdowns against Miami. Isaiah Pacheco, the NFL's leading rusher, only had 3 carries. I guess he got injured. He will play today against us, though. Through the air, Rashee Rice was pretty damn good. So was the rookie, Tank Hawkins, who had a terrific first season with the Miami Dolphins. Not a whole lot of defense in this game, though. Much like the AFC Championship, the only full sack by Donovan Ezaraku, couple of interceptions. Jay Higgins had one for the Chiefs. He ended up winning the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. I would have thought maybe we saw Rashee Rice or Patrick Mahomes on offense, but Lamar Jackson did score 5 touchdowns in a win over Jalen Daniels, Devin Neal, and the Las Vegas Raiders. Every first-round game was pretty close, and every one of them was high-scoring. No shortage of offense in the wild card round of the playoffs. We played against Kansas City early this year, weeks 1 and 3. It's been a while since we've seen them. Why does it say we didn't play the Falcons game? That's weird. But we beat the Chiefs in our Thursday night opener, 28-16. And then on Sunday night, just 2 weeks later, a game that we stole from them. The Chiefs had the game won, if not for a Hail Mary pass interference followed by a touchdown with no time left on the clock to win us the game. The Chiefs have not forgotten how they lost that game, how they got screwed out of a win, and had Kansas City beaten us in week 3, the entire playoffs could have looked different. We would have had the same record as them. We would have split the tiebreaker, and there's a chance they could have potentially won the division and had some home playoff games, but we kind of screwed them by bribing the refs, or however we would have won that game. The Chiefs overall have played some good football this year, and obviously they are quite experienced in the playoffs. There is not a more battle-tested quarterback, other than maybe Tom Brady in the history of football, come January, than number 15 in Kansas City, who's made the playoffs and has gone on a run just about every single year he's been in. You'd think the press conference would be about our upcoming game with the Chiefs, but not quite. Instead, they want to talk to Simeon Bonnet about what he said over the offseason. You said you didn't need a plan. You promised that this team was talented enough to make the playoffs. That's right. Oh, he was right. Hey, I called it. We made the playoffs. Give us credit. You sure did. This is aura. Is Simeon Bonnet aura farming? I mean, that was hard. That's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander levels of aura farming. I'm recording this before Game 7, so for all I know, he might have completely laid a stinker. Anyway, let's get this show on the road against Kansas City, a team who we know very well. The 6th time that we will have played them over the last 2 seasons, including last year in the AFC title game, a 44-41 win, and including both of our wins against these guys this year. We seem to have Kansas City's number right now. Whether it's at home, on the road, regular season, playoffs, doesn't matter. The one thing scarier than Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes with a chip on his shoulder. And you best believe he does not want to see his team lose to the Denver Broncos yet again. The memes of Bo Nix being his father would go platinum if we won this game, which is all the more reason to pull it off and go back to the AFC title game, as Denver will start with it. Alek Yomanar on the return for the Broncos, and he will push forward near the 30 as we take a look at Bo Nix and the Broncos offense. Our first playoff game since our Super Bowl 62 win a season ago. Denver looking for the repeat, and throughout the regular season, we certainly showed that we're good enough, going 13-4, grabbing the number 1 seed, finishing with the top 3 scoring offense and defense. 2nd and 8, Nix drops back to throw it up the middle. He's got, guess who? Marvelous Marvin Mims, who brings it to the 50. Mims was healthy last year in the playoffs and was terrific. I thought he should have won the Super Bowl MVP. He was finally healthy for a full season this year, and we saw how good he was with nearly 100 catches, finishing 4th in the NFL in receiving yards. 3rd and 4 at the 44. Delayed handoff for Trey Henderson. Gets a good block from Walker and gets around 10. Good run there by Trey. They were not expecting the run, but unfortunately we had the penalty. Holding against the center, Gus Hartwig. That'll move us back 10 yards from the original line of scrimmage. And now it is a 3rd and 13 for the Broncos. Nix looks to throw it with Henderson in the backfield again. Looking up the middle, he's got Williams! Ryan Williams to the 15! A huge gain for the Broncos. 38 yards for Ryan Williams, and Denver has it in the red zone. I'm fascinated to see how much some of these younger depth skill position players like Williams, like Chris Brazzell are going to be able to do, as Olave walks the red carpet in for the touchdown, and the Denver Broncos strike first, marching down the field on their opening drive, finishing with a score. Olave, the one starter on this year's team who was not on our Super Bowl team last year, so going on a playoff run probably means a little bit more to him, because unlike everybody else, he's never really gotten this opportunity being stuck in New Orleans. Here is Mahomes leading the Kansas City offense. 16 interceptions. That's kind of a lot for him, but overall, pretty good year. Nearly 50 touchdowns. He'll take that. Joined by the NFL's leading rusher, Isaiah Pacheco, in the backfield. The tight end, Terrence Ferguson, in motion, joined by Marvin Grant. Mahomes looks to throw it. It is broken up, incomplete. That's Grant who got a hand on it. There was not much to see of the punters in last year's AFC title game. I think there might have been one total, but we already have a punt here in the opening quarter. Denver has it back past the 50, looking to add to the lead and put themselves in control early, as Nix is sacked on the play. Couple of guys to bring him down. Leo Chanel and Stephen Daly are there to bring him home. That'll make it a 3rd and 17. We had the long 3rd down conversion earlier with Ryan Williams. Here is Nix. Fumbles the ball! Nobody can scoop it up, and it is the Broncos. Rasheed Walker who recovers. A strip sack, though, for Stephen Daly, and Denver's going to have to punt it away. That could have been a lot worse, though. I thought the defensive lineman was going to hop on that ball. Obviously, clear as day, a fumble, no need to review. Not that it would have changed the outcome of the drive or anything. Second drive for Kansas City. Their first was a 3-and-out. Mahomes looking deep. He's got an open man. It's Xavier Worthy who creates separation early in the route off of Benjamin Morrison. And Worthy brings it to the 37, a gain of 25. Following play, Mahomes has Ferguson wide open. Bossa will not catch him. Terrence Ferguson in for a touchdown. We are tied. I think Bossa ran into somebody as he was trying to get into coverage. Nonetheless, a rare misstep by Bossa, who's been close to perfect this year, unable to track down his former Oregon teammate, Go Ducks. As Denver gets it back, we are tied at 7. So after a slow start for the Chiefs, it appears they have awoken. Next on the run, good throw for Ryan Williams, juking his way forward to the 44-yard line. A busy start for Williams, 4 catches for 59 yards already. He has been good in the early going for the Broncos. 30 seconds left in the first quarter. 2nd and 6 at the 47 here for Denver. Next, joined by Trevion Henderson again in the backfield as he gets it. Henderson breaks the tackle, finds the hole, gets the first down, still up as he's wrapped at the 39 by Shamari Connor. That'll conclude the first quarter, tied at 7. The first 5 minutes was about the Broncos. The last 5 have been about Kansas City. That'll bring us into the second quarter. We'll see if Denver can get some momentum as the offense does appear to be moving it down the field. First play of the second. Back to Trey. He's been the go-to back. Doesn't get much as Ryan Williams is hobbling around. It looks like he might have hurt his toe. That's not good news considering how well he's played today with nearly 60 yards in the first quarter alone, as he'll be diagnosed with turf toe, and his day is over. I guess we weren't lying earlier when we were talking to our coordinator about seeing more Chris Brazzell. 3rd and 8, there's Mims. Past the 20 to the 19. Denver now in the red zone. A strong start for Marvelous Marv. Following play, Genty in the backfield. I feel like we haven't called his name a lot as he gets the pitch. Genty to the outside with a good run as he gets around 8. He hasn't played in 3 weeks since week 17, missing our final game against the Chargers. Holding on the offense, Ross Ulugalu Masiuli with the penalty. And that'll push Denver back, although we would make up for the yardage on first down. RPO, Brazzell weaves through defenders. Nice maneuver to the 4. Chris Brazzell moves really well for somebody who obviously has a bigger frame, 6'4", 6'5". He's got some wiggle, a little bit of juice. As Denver now has it at the 1. 2nd and goal, looking to punch it in. As Genty is the running back in the game. He'll get it, and Genty walks the red carpet in for a touchdown. And the Broncos regain the lead. Ashton Genty with the score, 14-7. We needed that drive offensively after kind of a rough patch over the last 10 or so minutes. Good to see the offense getting going once again as Kansas City will get the ball back trailing by a touchdown. We'll see if Mahomes and company can respond. 3rd and 10 with 7:20 to go. That one is broken up for Rashee Rice. Colin Wright is the one who breaks up the pass. That'll lead to a punt, and Denver gets it back at the 33. Back to Genty. Tries to find space, and he does. Juke move and a first down. How did he pull that one off? His short area quickness on that play, dodging around the tacklers, really impressive. Very Cornell Teamer-esque. 2nd and 3 at the 49 now. Henderson back in the game. Nix looks to throw it under pressure. Fumbles again! And scoops it up. James Houston, the problem, in with the sack. The same guy who injured Puma Whitlock in the playoffs in the Dragons series, and also Puma Whitlock's former teammate on the Dragons, as it's 3rd and 13 after another strip sack. Nix looking for the comeback. It's Mims. Another grab for Marvin Mims. He's been good in this first half. 3 catches, 60 yards. So Denver converts despite the early fumble by Nix. Here's Brazzell on first down to the 25. Our offense is really rolling right now. Since the start of the second quarter, these guys are in a rhythm. Bo Nix has coughed up the ball, but as a passer, he's been brilliant. This one is hauled in. Good catch by Olave. Does not get the first down. McDuffie with the stop, and we've got a decision here on 4th and inches. We're going to go for it. I get a field goal, makes it a 2-score game, but when you're this close, punch it in. Genty does not get it. He's wrapped up on the play by a couple of guys. J.R. Johnson, the rookie, who's banged up after the play. Another defender was there as well. I believe that was Zane Durant for Kansas City, the former Penn State defensive tackle. Mahomes' pass is dropped. Could have been an easy interception for Colin Wright. We would have gotten the ball with elite field position right back as if the 4th down stop never happened. 3rd and 6. Mahomes drops another pick. It's Sanders this time. We had 2 chances to force a turnover, and we're unsuccessful both times. Brutal. At least we got the stop, though, and overall the defense has been quite good in the first half. 3rd and 8. Here's Nix under pressure. Hit as he throws. Olave's got to steer the ball away from Shamari Connor. That could have been intercepted. Both quarterbacks are starting to lose it. 2.5 minutes left to go in the first half now for the Chiefs. At the 20, Mahomes on the out route. He's got Worthy. Takes a hard push at the end from Pat Surtain, but not before getting the first down. Final play before the 2-minute warning. Mahomes dances around, and he is sacked. Michael Williams brings him down. He was inconsistent this year, but played really well after the bye week. It seems like his best football is what he's done over the last month or so. Good to see him continuing. 2nd and 18, Mahomes. It's nearly intercepted again. That wasn't even just a drop. Surtain had it in his hands and damn near threw it on the ground. Chiefs are just going to run the ball on 3rd and 18. Pacheco gets nothing, and Denver calls a timeout. This is the same Chiefs offense who scored 42 against us in the AFC title a year ago. Mahomes has had 3 dropped interceptions. Denver back with it. Nick steps up, scrambles, and is sacked. That's 4 in the first half for the Chiefs. Stephen Daly's been a one-man wrecking crew. 8 tackles, 4 for a loss, and 2.5 sacks. The right tackle, Tree Babalade's had a rough one. Olave, though, on 3rd down, brings it all the way to the 29, out of bounds, stopping the clock. Good job there by Olave, who had the early touchdown back in the first. From the 29 now with 40 seconds, Genty to the outside, tried to catch him off guard with the surprise run. Doesn't happen, and we're going to have to use timeout number 2 here at the 36-second mark. 2nd and 11 now for Denver at the 31-yard line with just 1 timeout at our disposal. Nix steps up, scrambles, he'll tuck it and run. Nix tries to find space out of bounds. He knows he's not going to get it, so instead he goes forward to the 9 where we will use our 3rd and final timeout. So now we've got to be really smart with how we manage the clock here. The last thing we need is to not score again in the red zone. But obviously we would like a touchdown. We can afford to be a little bit aggressive, but I would imagine we're only going to look for the sidelines or the end zone. Nix, open, Henderson is in! He was wide open up the middle of the field. I don't know how the Chiefs just did not see him until it was too late. And Travion Henderson adds to the lead for Denver. 21-17, a 14-point game. Although this is more than enough time for Mahomes to look to score before the end of the half. So our defense cannot let their guard down, especially considering the Chiefs have all their timeouts. Play action. Mahomes hit as he throws. He's got Ferguson past the 50 to the 45. Not a bad start for the Chiefs. They're not too far away from field goal range using their first timeout. Down to 15 seconds now for Kansas City. 2 timeouts past the 50 at the 45. Ferguson in motion, goes back to the left. Here's Mahomes up the middle. Nice grab by Jurion Dickey. They're going to have to call another timeout, though. Good tackle by Ben Morrison. We're down to 8 seconds off of an incompletion on 2nd down. It's now 3rd and inches. Mahomes looks to throw it. He'll go up the middle. It's Dickey again. So that'll get them firmly into field goal range. I guess that's what the goal was there for the Chiefs, knowing that they're probably not going to get the touchdown. So they figure, let's just try to get as many points as possible. Dickey with some words at the end of the play there, I believe, with Seth Jennings. As it's a 42-yarder. Harrison Butker, his kick is good. And that'll wrap up the first half here in Denver. 21-10, the Broncos with the lead. I love what we've gotten out of the defense so far. The offense has not been too bad themselves. Bo Nix has clearly outplayed Mahomes. 16 of 21, 213, and 2 scores for Bo. Mahomes, 7 of 15, 122, and 3 dropped interceptions. We've got to get more from the run game, though. Travion Henderson's been good, 6 carries, 41 yards. Genty only has 17 yards on 6 carries. Through the air, 60 yards for Mims, 59 for Ryan Williams, and he did that in just 1 quarter. Razzle and Olave have gotten involved, while Terrence Ferguson leads the Chiefs with 61. Defensively, it's been the Stephen Daly show. As I mentioned earlier, 4 TFLs, 2.5 sacks. He has been a beast for Kansas City today, trying to single-handedly keep them in the game. So as we go into the second half, we're hopefully going to be running the ball quite a bit, chewing some clock. But I really want to get the intermediate passing game rolling because we have not been able to. It's only been deep, such as the play for Ryan Williams, or the short game. And then I imagine Kansas City's not going to run the ball a whole lot in the second half. They did not run it very well in the first. Even though Isaiah Pacheco led the NFL in rushing, desperate times call for desperate measures, and in these spots, they want Mahomes with the ball. It is Pacheco. He loses a yard. It's Jeffrey Bassa. We didn't say his name a whole lot in the first half. Bassa's name was not even on the stat sheet. He didn't have a single tackle. The NFL's leading tackler, for what it's worth. He was not good at all in the first half, at least not for his standards. Maybe the worst half I've seen in Jeffrey Bassa's 4-year career. So it's good to see him rolling to start the third. 3rd and 11, wide open. It's Worthy to the 48-yard line. He had too much space. He's just too damn fast. Kansas City passed the 50 in what is certainly their most important drive of the year so far. 2nd and inches. Mahomes on the blitz. Drew Sanders was not supposed to blitz. He was supposed to man up with Pacheco, but he saw the wide open lane and could tell he was going to be unblocked. So he takes the risk, and it pays off. 3rd and 6 now for Kansas City. Huge play here. They do not want to end this drive with a punt. Ferguson goes back to the left. Mahomes looks to throw it. He'll go short, and it's caught, and they will get the first. It's Dickey who hangs on despite the hit by Ben Morrison. 2nd and 5 now for the Chiefs at the 33. Mahomes, it's a screen. Pacheco with it. He's close. Good tackle by Surtain, and that'll lead us to another pivotal 3rd down as it's 3rd and 2 for the Chiefs. They are in field goal range, but I imagine they're hoping for a little more than 3. Pacheco gets it, but he's hurt. Pacheco missed most of the wild card win against the Dolphins, and now he's hurt again. Seen going to the locker room, it seems like with all the touches he's gotten throughout the year, he's just gotten completely battered and bruised, especially considering he's been in the league for a while. This is his 7th year, which is a lot for a running back. Mahomes is sacked on 2nd and 4. Mateo Uiagalelei brings him down. He's getting some extra snaps as Aleem McNeil got a little dinged up on the previous drive. He's likely out for the game as well. 3rd and 9 now for Kansas City. Again, the last thing they want is a field goal now that they've gotten this close, and they do convert. Rashee Rice to the 11, racing with Rashee. Although the Chiefs are not exactly racing down the field, it's been a 6-minute plus long drive. They've used a lot of clock to start the 3rd quarter. With 4 to go in the 3rd, still trailing by 11. At the 11, it's caught. Rice, Superman dives into the end zone, and the Chiefs appear to be back in the ball game. They are a 2-point conversion away from making it a field goal deficit. Rashee Rice is able to get by right at the end. And now we'll see if Kansas City can complete the 8-point drive. Mahomes in the backfield, joined by the running back Kavorian Barnes. Ferguson in motion for Kansas City as Mahomes' pass is broken up. Marvin Grant got a hand on it, so the lead will stay at 5 as Denver's going to get it back. 3:47 to go at the 33-yard line, 2nd and 10. Here is Nix. He's got an open man. It's Chris Brazzell. Brazzell to the 50. Nice play after the catch. Gain of around 17. Our offense looking to fight back after the Chiefs were able to score to start the 3rd. 3rd and 7, though, for Denver at the 48. Nix on the run, hoping someone gets open. And sure enough, it's Marvin Mims. He beats Burke inside the 5 to the 3. 45 yards for Marvin Mims. Those crossing routes with Mims are virtually unguardable, and once he's open, he's always turning it into a big play. 1st and goal, Genty's in, his 2nd touchdown of the game. Denver quickly responds with a touchdown of their own. A lot quicker of the drive than the one we just saw from Kansas City. So we're right back up by 2 scores, 28-16. That drive lasting maybe a minute and a half for us. 2nd and 10 at the 26 for the Chiefs. Mahomes looking deep. He's got Ferguson, who beats Sanders and brings it to the 46. Good play there by T. Ferg, keeping the drive going for the Chiefs. 2nd and 2 now. Ferguson in motion. He'll go back to the left, as he's done throughout the game. The other running back, John Randall Jr., is thrown down by El Jefe, Jeffrey Bassa, who's looked a lot better in the second half, a lot more like himself. I don't know what he had in the water in the first half, because that just did not look like him. He's in the zone here on 3rd and 4. Mahomes up the middle. It's caught. Nice grab by Ferguson. He had Ben Morrison draped over him, but it doesn't matter. Ferguson's now in the zone for Kansas City. John Randall gets it again, breaks the initial hit, wrapped up by Bassa, and that'll wrap up the 3rd. Both offenses successful here in the 3rd. The Chiefs with a touchdown, missed the 2. Denver with a touchdown, did get the PAT. and our 11-point halftime lead is up to 12 going into the fourth. 10 minutes away from making it back to the AFC title for a second time in this series. But as we know, never count out Patrick Mahomes. This game is far from over, especially considering the Chiefs are moving the ball well on this drive and well throughout the second half. 2nd and 8 at the 31. Randall seems to be getting most of the snaps at running back, not Kavori and Barnes. I guess that makes sense given that Barnes really struggled against the Dolphins as Worthy gets 22 yards. That'll get the Chiefs in goal line territory now at the 9. We'll see if they can punch it in, make it a one-score game. 1st and goal for the Chiefs. Mahomes joined by Randall again. Mahomes looking, corner of the end zone. Rashee Rice, 2nd touchdown of the evening. Rashee Rice hasn't been the go-to guy. It's been Ferguson, it's been Worthy, Dickey more so in the first half. But Worthy's made big plays in the red zone, late in drives, finishing off drives with 2 scores. 28-23. Denver gets it back up by 5, looking to hold on to the lead. 2nd and 5 at the 32. Nix looks to throw it, scrambles to the right, under pressure, looking to run for the first down. Good scramble. Does not quite get him the first down. He's pushed out by L.T. Overton. As that leads us to a pivotal 3rd and inches at the 38-yard line. Genty will get the first and more. That's a really good run for a 3rd and inches spot. Were they expecting us to throw the ball? I feel like that was an obvious rushing call, but I guess they didn't buy it. 2nd and 3, Genty up the middle with a first down to the 25. We are burning a lot of clock as Antonio McCulloch is hurt for the Chiefs. We got the ball pretty early into the 4th quarter. Now there's only less than 6 minutes left. I mean, we're doing a great job of burning clock, moving down the field, nearing the red zone at the 25. Is on 1st down. Nix, it looks like it's an RPO, and it's intercepted! Trent McDuffie with nobody in front of him. Are you kidding? Nix will look to catch him, and he does not! A pick 6 for the lead. Trent McDuffie takes it to the house, and this game has been flipped on its head. 74-yard house call for McDuffie. Bo Nix made the wrong read on the RPO, and the Chiefs are now winning. They're going to go for 2, look to make it a 3-point game. Mahomes under pressure, it is caught, and they will not get it. Sanders with the hit on Randall. The Chiefs 0 for 2 on 2-point tries. Seth Jennings, the rookie from Kansas, with the pressure in the backfield. Denver is back on offense, trailing by 1. 29-28 in a game where we led for most of it. But now we need potentially a game-winning drive from Bo Nix, who just threw a potentially game-costing pick 6. Nix starts the drive with the out route. Marvin Mims to the 45. Field goal would give us the lead. Obviously, in an ideal world, you would hope for a little more, as it is 2nd and 4 at the 48. We're certainly not in a rush in terms of the clock yet. There's still 4.5. As Genty does not get it. He might have lost a yard. It's McDuffie who just hit the pick 6, and now it's 3rd and 4. The most pivotal play of our season so far. Henderson in the game at running back. Nix looks to throw it. Scrambles to the right. Wide open. It's Marvin Mims. Gets a block from Brazel. He should have just cut upfield. Could have turned that into an even bigger gain. But Mims gets it to the 22, and we are now firmly in field goal range, but we are not satisfied with a field goal. If we get 3 and the Chiefs get the ball back, they're going to win the game. Here is Henderson up the middle. He gets the first down into the red zone of the 11. As we have an injured Chief on the play. That is Jeremiah Anglin Jr., the rookie corner out of Pitt. Now we've got some decisions to make in terms of the clock. Do we want to waste a lot of time? Do we not really care how much time is taken off the clock if and when we score? As it's Mims, he gets 7. 7 catches, 154 yards for Marvin Mims. What a season it has been. We are chewing some clock. We don't want them to have too much time with the ball as Genty gets around 2. 3rd and 1. We're in a tough spot here because if we don't get it, do you go for it on 4th down? Field goal puts you ahead, but when it's this close, you at least got to think about it. So let's punch this sucker in. We have plenty of time to think about our play call with the 2-minute warning. It's a QB sneak, and Nix gets it. That'll bring us at the 1, and we are now officially going to let as much clock go as possible. First and goal at the 1. Look who's in the game at fullback. It's the big boy. Will he get the ball? Nix taking all the time off the play clock. It's the big fella. A big man touchdown. Samu Tamuman Pepe in for the score. And Denver takes the lead. When we drafted Pepe in the 4th round this year, this is exactly what I had envisioned when we drafted him. A big touchdown for the big man in a big playoff game. Now Denver will go for 2, trying to make it a 7-point lead. Nix, Fannin, he's in! What a catch by Fannin. He was able to take one on the chin off the hit by Jay Higgins. 36-29, an 8-point drive for Denver. And now Kansas City gets it back, trailing by a touchdown. Minute 13 and 3 timeouts is more than enough time for Patrick Mahomes, as he will look to throw it on first down. Mahomes under pressure up the middle. I don't know why Bossa ran forward. What was he doing? That was not the user. That was his own doing. He had free will there. But Worthy converts. Chiefs use a timeout. Up the middle again. Why are we moving forward? We shouldn't necessarily be trying to get the ball here. Let's just try to force incompletions. Another first down. Chiefs use another timeout. Just over a minute to go now in the 4th. Kansas City already past midfield as Mahomes will go up the middle. Short gain of around 7 for Worthy. The Chiefs are going to go no huddle. Tick, 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 tick. 40 seconds and a timeout here for the Chiefs. Worthy in motion. He will slip back to the left. Mahomes up the middle. It's caught by Ferguson. They're moving really slowly. They've had to burn all 3 timeouts. But they do now have it at the 30. So they're moving the ball well, but with 32 seconds and no timeouts, this kind of limits how they can call their offense. You got to imagine they're really focused on getting plays inside the numbers. Not that time. Lucky he dropped it. Would have only been a gain of 3 or 4, and it would have wasted a lot of time. Good hit, though, by Bossa nonetheless, as we are down to 29 seconds. Maybe they take a shot for the end zone at some point. Got to imagine Denver's going to try to have a lot of defenders back. Cover 3, cover 4. Keep a lot of guys in the secondary. Mahomes looks to throw it. He goes short again. It's caught. It's another first down, but why are they wasting so much time? Tick, 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 tick. There's 5 seconds. They're going to have one more play. Ferguson in motion. They've got to snap the ball. Patrick, what are you doing? Snap the ball. Denver is going to the AFC Championship as Mahomes takes way too long waiting for the play to develop, and he doesn't get a snap off. I mean, for a veteran quarterback who's played in a lot of big games, 5, 6 Super Bowl appearances, you should know better than to design a complex play at the end. Why wouldn't everybody just go for the end zone with 5 seconds? A weird way to end the game, but Denver does the unthinkable. We have beaten Patrick Mahomes 3 times in the same season. That is extremely impressive and probably something, at least for Mahomes, that never has or never will happen ever again. So Denver is back in the AFC title game. Kansas City gave us a run for our money late, but the offense was really good. 9 of 11 on 3rd down. The passing game was efficient. The run game was good. Now, Bo Nix had a couple of bad plays. The interception was certainly not good, and he had 2 fumbles. Him and Mahomes, very similar numbers. Mahomes had a good second half. Trey Henderson was our best rusher. He was banged up in the second half. Pacheco only had 3 yards, and then obviously got a shout-out to big boy Pepe. Worthy, Mims, Ferguson, all over 100 yards. Mims obviously had a great game. Rice scored twice. Brazel, Williams, Olave, all were productive. Fannin had the big 2-point conversion as well. Tale of 2 halves for the offensive line. Sucked in the first half, great in the second half in terms of the pass and run blocking. Stephen Daly was great in the first half, quiet in the second. The opposite for Bossa, looked a lot more like himself. Trent McDuffie at the big pick 6 that could have changed the entire complexion of the game. But what I like about Bo Nix in this offense is that they'll keep a short mind. They won't worry about the mistakes they made prior. They're going to continue to play their game. They're calm, composed, and consistent. So who will we play in the AFC title game? We've got the Colts and the Ravens, 2 teams who we beat late this year. Blew out the Colts on Monday Night Football 31-3, a team who we've played a lot in big games and have, like the Chiefs, owned them. Then you got the Ravens. They scored a pick 6 in the first minute of the game, 3 points the rest of the way. It's hard to beat the same team twice in 1 year. I mean, we just did it 3 times, but it'll be hard to do again. Next episode, the AFC Championship against